Hello and welcome back to InfoSec World 2024. CyberRisk TV is still streaming live from the expo floor in sunny and yes, still hot Lake Buena Vista, Florida. We're excited to be here celebrating the 30th anniversary of InfoSec World. I'm your host, Dr. Dustin Sachs, and today I'm joined by the incomparable Olivia Rose, who is the CISO and founder at Rose CISO Group. And today we're talking about your amazing keynote, the best introductory keynote of the conference yet.
There's only one.
About 5 steps to ignite your cybersecurity success. Olivia, thank you. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself if they don't know who you are, and they should if they don't. But
there you. I'm Olivia Rose, like the flower, and 2-time CISO. I burned out about 2 years ago from being a CISO and went and started advising CISOs. So that is significantly less stressful than being an actual CISO.
So tell us a little bit about the keynote that you gave this morning, which, by the way, was very well attended and very, very much the audience was engaged, enthralled, really loved it. Tell us a little bit about what you talked about this morning.
The audience was amazing. It was 8:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I mean, all these people showed up.
8:15 on a Monday.
On a Monday.
Yeah.
It's such an honor.
Yeah.
So my keynote was about being audacious, because you have to be audacious in cybersecurity. Well, one, to keep up with the adversaries, because they are audacious as all get out. And two, to stand apart and to ignite your cybersecurity career.
Define for us, for those who are listening and those who are interested, what do you define as audacious? How do you explain something? You know, it's a subjective concept,
yes.
But how do you define audacious?
Well, Merriam-Webster defines it as brash and brave and having verve and just having guts. You know, of having some chutzpah to you. You know, it's if you understand Yiddish.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course. Don't we all?
We certainly do.
We certainly do.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's having that courage to go out and saying, no, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to be contrary. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be loud.
Yeah, I mean, I think audacity is a really interesting concept because in what we do in cybersecurity, we're often going to parts of the business or going to parts of the organization and telling them to do something they don't want to do or don't do something or don't do something we would rather you not do. And their first reaction is always, no. Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me do MFA? Why are you making me, go enter my password 7 times? Why are you making me do this or that? Or why aren't you letting me do this? So how can we empower everybody? Because, this idea of audacity might sound like, well, only the top brass needs to have it. Why is it important for everybody on the security team and everybody, regardless of where you're at in your career, to be audacious?
Because you have to stand out. You have to take chances. This is security. We're fighting against Russia, China, who, are more advanced than we are in a lot of areas. We're constantly coming up from behind, and we're trying to get ahead of these adversaries. You need these guts and this bravery and this originality and this brashness to even catch up to where they're at. It's creativity. So if you don't, even if you're just coming in, you're brand new, one, you won't stand apart from everybody else, and two, you need to learn to have those skills to take the risks that bring the most rewards.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that for me has always been really interesting to learn to work on myself, when we talk about audacity, is the ability to tell truth to power, to say no to certain things, to be willing to say, we're not maybe either we're not capable of doing this, we're too taxed, we can't do it, and being willing to say that to somebody who may, certainly as a junior person, being willing to say that to somebody who is the CISO.
Yeah.
Being willing to say to if you're the CISO, being willing to say to the board of directors or the CEO of the company or the people who literally cut your checks, saying, no, this is not good. We are at risk. We've seen too many instances of CISOs who didn't speak up and now regret it. I think back to a couple weeks ago, I got to sit with Tim Brown in San Antonio, and to hear him say, I wish I had spoken up more. I wish I had said more. To hear Joe Sullivan say, I wish I had spoken up more. I wish I had more audacity to say, this is not right and I'm not comfortable being the one responsible.
Yep.
How can people who maybe struggle with audacity, what's the, is it something you're just born with and you have it or you don't? Or is it something you can learn? And if it's something you can learn, what are the ways that people can start changing and becoming more audacious?
Find someone who you admire, and it doesn't have to be in security. It can be anywhere. Michael Jordan, Find someone you admire who has the walk and the talk and the swagger and the confidence and the bravery. I like to use the example of Sasha Fierce for Beyonce. She was the alter ego for Beyonce. That's not Beyonce you see strutting out there with the wind blowing her hair back. That's Sasha Fierce. So find someone you can look up to and that you can, for lack of a better term,
someone you can emulate.
Emulate, emulate was the word. I was going to say copy, but emulate.
Right.
And then watch what they do, how they're successful. And you're right, you have to be able to say and stand up for yourself and say very uncomfortable things to people who don't want to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of security.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what you said is really powerful, which is you've got to be willing to say uncomfortable, have those uncomfortable conversations, because you're going to have them.
Yes.
At some point in your career, you're going to have that uncomfortable conversation of saying, I distinctly remember having to have a conversation with my CISO who had failed a phishing test at one point in one of my, and say to him, like, dude, you clicked the link and you shouldn't have, and point out to him like where you made a very real error. And you never want to be like, I'm a junior analyst saying to him, you were on the, he asks for a list of who failed, and I'm like, you're kind of on, do I leave your name on there? Are you going to and being comfortable enough to say that. And I think, finding people who can help you be audacious, I am so glad you said that, because I think back, and I'm not going to get into the particulars of it, but I think back to a conversation you and I had almost a year ago, actually, about something where I was struggling with whether or not to be audacious and talk out about something. And you really coached me in that, the people who you want to reach the message are going to applaud that you were audacious, and the people who were never going to be on your side in the first place are never going to be on your side in the first place. So no matter what you do, you're either you've got to be you almost have to be vulnerable and be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to own that you are who you are.
Yes.
You talk about people to emulate, and I think of somebody who we both know, Mel Reyes, who is absolutely audacious and is willing to go wherever.
Yeah.
I mean, he shows up at conferences in pink suits, and but he owns it, and that ownership, and people like you who really help us all who struggle maybe with that, like being your authentic self, that it's okay, and it's not only is it okay, it's what makes you better. You're better when you're not trying to mask who you are.
And it's better. This is the thing. You help other people when you say something, and maybe they don't have the strength to be as forward and outspoken as you are. If you say it, then what a service you've done for them, because maybe in 2 years they'll be okay with that. But what I really recommend is if you're uncomfortable with speaking up, And I always say, stand for something or else you will fall for everything.
Right.
Simple as that. You have to stand for something in cybersecurity.
Right.
That's the kind of
Absolutely.
people are in cybersecurity today. We stand for stuff. Figure out where your line is.
Yep.
And this is your tolerance line. And everything I post on LinkedIn, I do the line test. And oftentimes I kind of poke at the line, and
Yeah.
sometimes I bend the line a little bit, but I never cross that line.
Yeah.
And that line is where I am personally and professionally comfortable with saying certain things.
Yeah, of course.
And there are some things on LinkedIn, and I think there are some women who are upset with me because I don't go into certain areas
Yeah.
about women, because I do write a lot about women, but I that crosses my line of comfort. But I focus on what I know and what I'm comfortable with, which is women in cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I think it's really, really kind of powerful what you said. You know, I've been very vocal recently on LinkedIn about some of my own kind of personality characteristics, and what was really amazing was to share it and then hear from other people.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
right?
Me too. The
Yeah.
private
Thank you.
messages.
Thank
it was
you.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this means something. Like I'm actually, like this person wanted me to say something,
Yes.
and couldn't say it themselves. So we're coming
Exactly.
up to the end of the time. I know this is not your first time here, but how's the conference been so far? What have you enjoyed so far? What are you looking forward to most as we kind of go through the next day and a half, 2 days?
You know, it's changed a lot since I've been here.
Yeah.
I have to say, this is my favorite conference.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Absolutely, mine
I like,
as well.
Yeah, I like the
And not
B-sides
just because
and
I
like this
work
one.
here now.
Yeah.
Last year, it was one of my favorite conferences before I ever came
Yeah.
work for us, the Cyber Risk Collaborative. So
Well,
yeah.
it's honestly true. I mean, I've been to RSA, I've been to all
Yeah.
the ones, and the content I've seen here, the people I've spoken with, are by far just engaging and intelligent and smart and fun and just nice, right? I highly recommend coming to this one. I think I'll start.
Yeah.
If I'm not presenting, I'll come to it. But it's cheaper if I present, obviously. But
I know a guy. I'll talk to. I'll
Yeah,
talk
you know
to
a
a guy.
guy?
I know a guy who can make sure that you've
we'll
got
work
a
for
spot.
a ticket.
Yeah.
We'll work for a ticket. I think the session I was really looking forward to was Bryson Bort's.
Yeah.
And I saw his this morning. That was a fantastic session. But there's many more I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really great sessions still coming up. Some keynotes. We're gonna have. I mean, we've already had some really great keynotes. Obviously, yours. We had Amy Bojack and,
Oh, yes.
and Todd Fitzgerald,
Uh-huh.
which was really fascinating
Yep.
to listen to. And really, again, I think the atmosphere here has been amazing, and it always is.
Yeah.
And I think I said it in the last one of these we did. Is that I think it's really a testament to the conference. I mean, we're here in our 30th year, which to think that that's been that many years through a pandemic, through everything we've been through, and the atmosphere has never changed. And whether that's the Disney magic dust that we sprinkle because we're here at Coronado Springs, or it's just the atmosphere of the people that are
Yeah.
here, I think the quality is amazing. So thank you, Olivia, so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
This was great. Thank you for tuning in to this live interview from InfoSec World 2024. To find all of the Cyber Risk TV coverage of this year's event, visit securityweekly.com/ISW. We'll be back very soon with another one of these interviews. We'll be back towards the end of the day with our wrap up. And again, Tom Ward from the Cyber Risk Collaborative will be joining me. We'll talk a little bit about the building of communities, how you could take what you experience here at the conference and make it a full year thing. Thank you so much,
Excellent.
Olivia, for being here.
Thank you
If
for
you guys
having
are
me.
if you guys are here and listening to this, definitely find Olivia. She's a great person to talk to, great person to know. Follow her on LinkedIn. I know that you can always reach out to her. She is always willing to answer questions.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.